Hey, mahal everyone, welcome back again to the Broadway Saiyan YouTube channel. I am your host 40 and we are back with another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, the global version of Dissidia Opera Omnia. In today's video, I'm gonna give you guys my opinion on Palom, good or not. So it looks like I'm starting up another series for my YouTube channel as far as Opera Omnia called Good or Not. It actually started off with the Kain video where I did this for Kain, and then I did it for Kuja, and it looks like I'm doing it for Palom now. So I'm going to be doing this from now on for all of the next character events that are going to be coming out in the future. I do want to give a big shout out and credit again to, this time I think I pronounced it correctly, Mino Spellgood. He's a Redditor that writes up amazing guides for these upcoming characters. A lot of the information in this video is going to be coming from that, so thank you, Mino Spellgood. I'm going to be leaving a link to his Reddit post for Palom. I'm also going to be leaving a link to the character preparation video that I did for Palom, because that covers more of the generalized info, if you guys still want to see that. And also, I gave a little gameplay of how he plays. But anyways, Palom, good or not? Alright, so what does Palom bring to global players? So Palom brings us global players amazing brave shaving capabilities with his ice magical attacks that grow into more powerful attacks as you use them alongside self buffs that also allow his standard brave and HP commands to be more potent. Enemies weak to ice, beware, because Palom is going to be here to expose your weakness. So Palom has this mechanic where essentially when you use his abilities, they change into another better version of that ability and another better version, as well as his brave attack changing to brave attack plus when you use one of his abilities, and his HP attack changes into what's called a dual cast command. So he's all about changing up his abilities because he is that magical prodigy again from Dissidia and Final Fantasy IV, but then he likes to mess around a lot, so that's why he's not always fighting at his full potential, and he likes to like creep up towards that power and kind of show hints of it here and there, and then he finally gets serious. So he's gonna be great for a magic DPS, or great with speed, I mean. So only Kuja is faster than him, and he's tied with Papalymo in the speed tier. And its abilities possess, essentially, like I said, a better version of the mastery system. So the mastery system is what the Final Fantasy V characters have. That's their version of their abilities getting better. But his is better because they do upgrade themselves every time you use them, up to 2 times being upgraded, becoming more potent in their usage. And then his self buffs come in the form of unique buffs. So Palom has 2 unique buffs, one for each of his abilities, which allow them to stack with other buffers, giving him great synergy with both buffers and debuffers. So he plays well with team setups. Like, he's not selfish, like Kain, where Kain's self buffs are a little too incredible to where he doesn't really work well with buffers. Alright, so Palom's damage output versus other magic DPS units. And this is going to be taking into account weapon passives, and the abilities that I chose are usually the abilities that deal the most damage in their kits. So Palom's Dissidia's Ice Crystal, which is going to be his Brave plus HP attack damage modifiers, are based on the version you are using with his 35 CP passive. So the regular version with the passive has a 150% damage modifier, the plus version has 180%, and then the plus version has 200%. And don't forget, he also increases his max Brave respectively with each version. So 15% for the normal version, 25% for the plus version, and then 40% with the plus version with his unique buff. Now, Papalymo's Astral Fire damage modifier is at 140%, and he does have a unique buff that also increases his attack by 30% and his max Brave by 20%. And then Kuja, who's our most recent addition to the cast, his Ultima 9 and his Ultima 9 plus damage modifiers are 180% plus 3 stacks of Soul Cleave, and then 360% with the added second use. And finally, comparing him to Garnet's Aquamarine Water Glint damage modifier, that one is at 130%. However, she inflicts a water imperil as well as increasing her water damage that she deals. So Palom can compete as far as damage capability wise, only being really outclassed by Kuja. Because when Kuja uses Ultima 9 plus, he essentially does the ability twice. So that is the comparison right there with his abilities. Now, what are Palom's pros and cons? So his pros are the following. His offensive prowess lasts very long. Both his self buffs at their peak last 10 turns with their weapon passives. He's the most powerful ice brave shaver in the game, hands down. He has 2 unique buffs that do not conflict with other buffers as mentioned earlier. And his upgraded Brave and HP attacks with his abilities allow you a little bit of flexibility in saving some of his actual ability usage. So you could opt to use his dual cast when you have that active, or his Brave Attack Plus to either Brave Shave or deal Brave damage and HP damage rather than using his abilities. So then that way you can save his abilities or try to at least make use of his other abilities. That way you're not running out of abilities too fast. So he's pretty good for that. He's also great for long fights. So if you're ever in a situation where you're fighting a long boss fight that really drags on, like for example, one of that would definitely be the Lost Chapters Vanille, those 2 Berserker armors for the level 90. He is definitely a good option for that. Now, what are his cons? So I'm gonna show you this video about one of his cons and how I feel like this is a con for Palom's kit.
This is a Super Saiyan. And this is what is known as a Super Saiyan that has ascended past a Super Saiyan. Or you could just call this a Super Saiyan 2. And this,
What's he doing?
is to go even further beyond.
So, hopefully you guys enjoy that, but yeah, this is what I call suffering from DBZ transformation syndrome. So, Palom's abilities suffer from that because he's building up his abilities. It's like he's going Super Saiyan, then he's going Super Saiyan 2, then he's going Super Saiyan 3, where he could just, I don't know, just go Super Saiyan 3 or go to his plus abilities right away rather than just building himself up. So he suffers from that. That's one of his definite cons because he takes too long to build up. He wastes turns building up too. So for example, Papalymo can just deal straight out damage with his Astral Fire and then also grant himself his unique buffs that complement his offensive capabilities, whereas Palom, he wastes turns building himself up because his abilities get better, but it's not really great for the type of game that DFFOO is, and we'll get into that with the final thoughts. And the final thoughts here and tips for him are Palom's usability would have been amazing had it not have been for his ability design. So again, on paper they look great because they're abilities that get better every time you use them, but DFFOO favors fast clears, especially for attaining a majority of the achievements for harder events such as Lost Chapters, Heretic Quest, and EX stages. So should you decide to use him, he currently pairs well with Saz as his self buffs at their best, combined with Saz's buffs give him the total following stat buffs. So 110% attack up, 100% max brave up, and large critical hit rate. And a great team setup would be Palom, Saz, and Tidus. Now Tidus works well because he also deals HP damage with his second ability and he also debuffs. So it helps Palom deal even more damage with his abilities. And finally, later on, Palom will get better with his Awakening and EX weapon as his self buffs will last even longer and more potent. So that is going to be my little bit of a deeper analysis, good or not, for Palom. So do I think he's good? He's decent, he's niche, he's not going to be like meta if you guys are concerned about where he's going to be at, but he's definitely fun to use, and if he's one of your favorites and you decide to pull for him, then more power to you. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this good or not good video on Palom. He is going to be coming out within a few days, so it's going to be pretty cool to see him join the cast of Opera Omnia. Once again, I am 40 the Broadway Saiyan. Stay tuned for the next video, and mahal everyone.